Hey guys, it's Jessii Vee. So as promised, today I'm going to be telling you my paranormal update on this house and all the weird things that have been happening lately. I mean, you guys know the weird stuff with the whole like attic man thing and things being moved around, but none of that stuff seemed that paranormal. I mean, yeah, it probably was, but it wasn't like so obvious to me. But the things that I'm going to be telling you about today literally happened in probably the last week and a half. It's like all of a sudden all of this stuff is just being thrown at us. So I have notes on my phone because every time something would happen, I would just like write it down in my phone. So I would remember, even though without this, I would remember. But let's just go in order. So we're gonna start about a week and a half ago when the first thing happened. Now obviously this is not the first thing that's ever happened in my house. I mean, I've always had strange things happen here, but I feel like there was a period of time, maybe like 3 months or so, where nothing obviously paranormal happened. So it's just weird, like I don't really know what occurred that suddenly made all of these things just happen at once, but anyways. So the first weird thing that happened. So about a week and a half ago, I was in my kitchen and I was making a tuna sandwich by the stove. Now, I was completely home alone, no one else in the house. I was just by myself in the kitchen making my sandwich, minding my own business. And it's important to note that I have a kettle that is on my counter that wasn't really near me. It's sort of in the corner of my kitchen. My stove's here, I'm on this side, so it would probably take me about 12 steps to get to my kettle from where I was standing. And I have the type of kettle where you fill it up with water and then you flick this switch near the bottom, and once the switch is flicked, the water starts to boil. So you have to physically go over and like push down the switch so the kettle turns on. That's how it's always worked. That's how it's always been. So there I was making a tuna sandwich, and this sound still spooks me even thinking about it today because I'm making my sandwich looking down at the bread, and suddenly I hear the little click of that switch go down. And it's not an easy switch to push down, like you have to use pressure. So first thing obviously I think of is, oh my gosh, the kettle. So I turn and I'm looking across the kitchen and that switch had just been turned down. So you know when you're in shock and you're kind of freaked out and you're just standing there? So I was standing there for like 30 seconds just looking at this kettle and watching it start to boil. And it's just so bizarre to me because I wasn't planning on making tea. I wasn't even thinking about the kettle. I didn't even remember filling up the kettle. Like it's really, really weird. And the fact that it's so far from me and it turns on, that little click. The click. So after staring in shock for like 30 seconds, I finally walk over, the steam is starting to come out, and I just like turn the switch back off and it slowly stops. And I'm like, what the heck did I just witness there? So I don't know, that's never happened before and it's just spooky. It's really spooky. Okay, this next thing, super weird. You guys probably won't even believe me when I tell you this. I feel like longtime fans will because you've seen all the evidence that I've shown you about paranormal stuff happening in this house and my old house. But anyways, I was editing a video in my office. Everything was silent. Once again, I was by myself in the house. So I'm just sitting there typing on my computer, and from the corner of my eye, first of all, it's terrible to see things from the corner of your eye. I just feel like it's that much creepier when you're not looking at it face on. You like see it happening. But my desk is pretty long, so my computer is towards the right side of my desk, and on the left side I have some papers, I have my pens, and here's the thing. I had no windows open. In fact, this was when I think my furnace was still not working. So there was no air going through the house like whatsoever. And I'm sitting there just typing stuff away, editing, and from the corner of my eye, my pen spins on the desk. Just once, it does a full 360 spin. And so once again, and I always do this, I am not someone, like in horror movies, people like scream and run. I have always been this way, even as a kid, where if something scares me so badly, I just stop. I stop breathing, I stop moving, and I slowly turn to see what's going on, and I don't move for 30 seconds to a minute. That's always how I've been, and like, watch when something really bad happens and I'm supposed to run, and I don't because I'm so scared. And I know Ty knows that I'm like that, and he's like, what if you're being chased by someone and you just stay still? And I'm like, I don't know. But anyways, the pen turns all the way around. It's a long pen, so to see from the side of my vision, it just like do a little spin and stop. Guys, I can't even express to you how scary that was. After I was done with my whole like body shock thing, I stood up, I walked out of my office, I went down and sat with Winnie for the rest of the day. I did not go back in my office. I was so spooked. I could not wait for Ty to get home from work. That was a bad day. Literally my hands like just shaking talking about it. Like if this doesn't prove it to you, I don't know what does. Whew, okay, looking back through my notes. Okay, so Ty told me something that really scared me quite a lot, and I don't think he knows how much it freaked me out, but we went and visited my parents, and we stayed there for a while, so by the time we were driving home, it was like 10 p.m., so pitch black outside, and my house is like a half an hour drive from my parents' house, and the highway, like there's no lights on the road, so you're kind of just like driving in darkness just depending on your headlights, so it's a really dark and creepy drive back home. So we're driving and Ty looks kind of stressed out, and I'm like, what's wrong? And he's like, I'm just like thinking about something that I saw the other day. And I was like, what'd you see? And he's like, you know what, don't worry about it. And like, I hate when people do that because you can't like tell me you're bothered and you saw something and then not continue. You know what I mean? I'm such a curious person. I'm so anxious about that stuff. So like, I eventually got it out of him. But he was like, no, like the reason why I didn't want to tell you is because it's probably just stress. Like, you know when people just see things when they're stressed, or, you know, your eyes play tricks on you, and he's trying to like, you know, logically explain it before he tells me, and I'm like, just tell me, boy. So we're like driving and I'm trying to concentrate, and he's like, well, it just seems like every once in a while, especially like in the evening or at night, when I walk down the stairs and I have to pass the living room, from the side of my eye, I see this tall woman in white standing in the corner, and she's either in the living room or in the dining room. What'd you say? So I'm driving and I'm like, wait, what? You see a what? So he's just telling me how it's always the side of his eye, and when he actually looks to see whatever it was, it's not there. And like, that's sort of a definition of shadow people, right? I mean, it's weird that he sees a lady in like a white gown. That's not normal probably, but I know that a lot of people see figures at the side of their eye. Even I have. That's sort of what shadow people are. It's sort of easy to see things from the side of your eye. Is it an actual ghost? I have no idea. All I know is that, and I've told you guys this before, is that when Ty was little, well, we think that he was seeing a ghost and was drawing a ghost, and I mean, he could have some ability, I have no idea, but the fact that it's always in the living room or in the dining room really freaks me out. So we're driving back, we finally get back to the house. The house is pitch black because the lights weren't on, and we walk in and like I see my living room and my dining room, and I'm like, how am I gonna live here now? Anyways though, I mean, it could just be his eyes playing tricks on him. I don't really know, but I mean, I believe in ghosts and spirits, so yeah, it could be something. Okay, so let's forward to what happened last night. So as you guys know, I have a pretty serious alarm system in my house because when I first moved in, I was living alone. I wanted like every window, door, motion outside. I want cameras. Like my house is like packed. It's good. It's a really good house. And I always just feel so secure in it. Like I'm never worried because of all like, literally if someone opens the door or breaks in at night, it calls the police immediately. The sound is so loud. Like it's a good system. So if anyone creepy is watching, you better not try anything because I have a good system. So last night I put my alarm on at 10 p.m. and I have an app on my phone that I can do that with, or you can either walk downstairs, and I actually have a few touch screens that you can put the alarm on, but it's easier when I'm in bed to just use the app. And on my app it has the history of everything that's been happening with the system, when I turn it on, when I turn it off, if there's been motion outside, which doors are opening when. Like I have a huge history of time, exact times, and when things are happening in my house. So I put the alarm on at 10 p.m. I think everything is good and I go to sleep. Well, at literally exactly 3 a.m., not a minute past 3 a.m., I suddenly wake up to the sound of what I think is my door opening, because on my door I have this sensor, so whenever someone opens it, it makes this like doo-doo-doo, like it makes a little beeping sound. So I woke up suddenly in bed from the sound of like that beep, and I was like, whoa, did someone just walk in my house? But then I thought, wait, no, I turned the alarm on, so if someone walked in, it would like instantly tell me. So I was like, it must have been a dream. It must have been my head just like playing that noise for some reason. So I fell back asleep. Well, this morning, because after each night I look through my history to make sure that, you know, if someone was on my porch, the camera catches it, or just to make sure everything was okay. Well, in my history, it literally says that at 3 a.m., someone disarmed the alarm from inside the house, left it off for 5 minutes, and then put it back on at 3:05. What the heck? And what's weird is that when I woke up, Ty was beside me, so it wasn't him. So in the morning, I called Ty and I'm like, can you please ask your brother if for some reason he like disarmed the alarm at 3 a.m.? So he asked his brother, And his brother said no. So what the heck is that about? I am still so spooked about that. I mean, I don't know what, that's never happened ever. Like since moving in here. And it was someone from inside who turned it off for some reason and then put it back on like right after. So that's just really spooky. I don't know what that would be. And then the last thing that happened was this morning. So basically after I found all of that stuff out, I went to go and pet Winnie and spend some time with her. And so her bed is on the far side of the kitchen, like in the sunroom. If any of you guys have watched my vlogs and stuff, you sort of know how my house looks. Anyways, I was bending down petting her. So basically I was looking towards a wall where she was lying, and she from her side would have the perspective of my kitchen. So I'm petting her, she's enjoying it, and she always does this thing where she like closes her eyes and enjoys me petting her, and suddenly her eyes like widen, like she's like seen something or like heard something. And I hear this creak behind me, like someone just stepped on a tile. So as I always do, I froze and I didn't move, and I see Winnie's gaze look behind me into the kitchen, and I'm like facing her, and she's looking and like is not breathing, just staring like blankly at something. And Winnie doesn't do that. Like if something is like freaking her out, she'll bark and she'll move around and run, but she was like this for like 2 minutes, and I didn't want to look behind me. So when she stopped, then I turned around. There was nothing there obviously, but like I have no idea what that was about. So anyways, that is my paranormal update for you guys. I'm literally just gonna keep writing down in my notes every time something happens. So if you want me to do this like monthly, give this video a thumbs up and let me know down below. Yeah, I just know I haven't done one of these in a while, so I thought you guys might want to hear. I know it's freaky. I don't know what's going on. I mean, I do know what's going on. Ghosts love my house. Anyways though, guys, yeah, I'll just have to keep you updated, but I hope you guys have an awesome rest of your day, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!